Alright guys, good evening. Happy gloomy Sunday night. Of course it is Sunday night. Who loves Sunday nights? Unless if you're like my one friend who's usually off Mondays and Tuesdays. This is like his Friday night basically. So, lovely. But anyways, we are here. What is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man, 1993, and we are back here live for my live review of this past Friday night's episode of SmackDown. Smack it down, man! As it took place, again, Friday, August 12th, 2022, from Raleigh, North Carolina! May we be hearing this coming Wednesday when we see the most likely return of Kenny Omega at Dynamite this week. We will, of course, have to wait and see. Of course, again, life is thrown at me, and get to this Friday, making this up now, of course. So SmackDown this past week was solid. I definitely, wasn't as big of like I said, last week's episode of SmackDown was good. I feel like, though, what saved me from giving it like a lower grade from Raw last week, again, was because of the return of Karrion Kross. We had a nice return this week, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. And that Intercontinental title match I thought was pretty good, too. The women's contract signing segment was interesting. Because not only do we have Liv and Shayna, the dynamic in this feud is very intriguing. We also did have Ronda return. We had some stuff with Drew McIntyre and the Usos, and a little bit of a follow-up from Karrion Kross, but cutting a spectacular promo, of course, as well. We did have a couple things that was just like, meh, like again, this women's tag title tournament. The stuff with Kofi and the Viking Raiders, I'm like, yeah, whatnot. But still a show showing that we're heading in the right direction. Things are in the process of changing. Some stuff it feels like, they're finishing up still, like what was done beforehand. I think, though, because there is rumors in the next coming weeks, there is rumors of another draft. And a lot of people think, after the draft is when we're going to see something shaken up. Like some, little more character changes, a little more, repackaging of some people. Maybe even some returns, getting drafted as well. You never know. We could see that as well. All of that in the upcoming weeks to come. Now, I should also mention this. I did read a rumor over the weekend that apparently this past week, the NXT UK tapings were canceled. And as leading to some speculation, they may be canceling NXT UK and just bring everybody over to NXT. Which obviously, fine, because I'm pretty sure there are some people in NXT that Triple H does want to call up. And, NXT UK was interesting. When it first, came around, there was a lot of, UK guys that you've seen sporadically here in NXT. It was kind of like the start of this idea that NXT was going to expand globally. Of course, the pandemic put a halt to that. So I do agree that it may be best just to cancel NXT UK and bring everybody over to America who does want to come over at least. And there is a lot of talent on that UK roster that, deserves to come over and be a little more recognized. Because I do think, there is some people Triple H is going to want to call from NXT. I don't know people super well, but there's some I can see, I can see Triple H wanting this person up. But, of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that in the next month or two, I would say. But just wanted to throw that out there. That it looks like NXT UK may be getting canceled. I think the whole project of NXT being expanded globally is on hold for now, in my opinion. But, of course, we will have to wait and see what happens. But SmackDown, though, let's get into it. First, let's check the live chat. We've got Wrestling News 365. Bobby Lashley versus Gunther at WWE Survivor Series 22. That's the match. It would be great. My only gripe about that, though, is I don't want it to be brand versus brand. With Triple H in charge, please do something different. And again, the idea I had that I pitched, since SummerSlam, even though we're getting the 6-woman tag match at Clash at the Castle, I really think they should consider doing a War Games match. Again, that feud on Raw with the women, with Bianca, should be someone involved, and they have Alexa and Asuka there, and then Bayley, her squad, and maybe one more person, of course. I originally said Sasha Banks, but I don't know if that would make sense for Sasha to team again with Bayley so soon if she does come back. I still get War Games vibes. That's the only gripe I had. Walter, hope they make him Walter again, not Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. But that would be a great match. Like I said, the only problem is it be a brand versus brand match at Survivor Series, which I don't want to see. We got Tyler, we got Mark. Mark talked about, of course, the big return, which we'll talk about that in a bit. Are they even going to book any matches for All Out? There's been a few that have been teased, of course, feels like. Tyler's new line is Liv is Nerdy. Comeback Charlotte, Fire Horseface, because we all know he hates Ronda. When is Karrion going to have his first match since coming back? Good question. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when that comes. Do you want to see Big Boy, Braun, Bray, and Samoa Joe that Triple H is in charge? Again, Braun, I think, I keep saying the three of them most likely is Bray, unless Bray is already signed with AEW. Braun, I feel like he could come back, but it may be a bit for him, because again, I think he's doing that control your narrative stuff with EC3. And Joe, he's signed to a contract with AEW and Ring of Honor. He's not coming back anytime soon. That main event match was good. It was. Tyler was going to give this a B-, but it turned to a C. Does that name Gunther sound like Thunder? Somewhat, yeah, but I hate the name, of course. But hopefully he'll be Walter again. But let's get rolling and talk about this episode of SmackDown. So we opened up with another random-ass women's tag title tournament first round match. It's Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez versus Shotzi Blackheart and Xia Li. Again, as I said in my Raw review, I still think that if they it still feels like too soon to do those women's tag titles. There is no depth. There's not enough depth to do that. Again, the only way I think it would somehow work is if there was just one set of women's tag titles. Not one for the main roster and NXT, but just one in general for the whole WWE. So like I said, I was hoping they would have just surprised us, but now that they revealed the whole bracket, and most of it's a bunch of no-name teams, it's just why really care? And same with this match here too, with Raquel and Aaliyah taking on Shotzi and Xia, just random matches. The baby faces, though, get the victory as you expected. They'll take on the winner of next week's match, which is Natalya and Sonya Deville versus NXT's Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark, which I'm pretty sure is probably going to be the NXT stars winning that match, in my opinion. After that, we get a recap of what happened in last week's main event when Karrion Kross made his shocking return to WWE. Kross, though, cuts a promo from a smoky room about how his blackened soul has been reborn, and how Drew and Roman are the chosen ones, which must be nice. But he and Scarlett were cast out of paradise and forgotten, but they were prepared and waited for the perfect time to strike. And now they'll show us, and everybody pays the toll. Tick-tock. Which he, of course, peeks around the corner. We see Drew McIntyre leaving the hallway to make his entrance. So we got Drew on the microphone. He says that this is an exciting time and new faces are showing up. Karrion Kross jumped in last week. Lots of people think he'll rant and rave about the thing he's going to do, and he's been waiting for a year. So what better impact than attacking the number one contender and staring the champion down? He gets it. But there's one problem. That number one contender is Drew McIntyre. And he's going to get back up and deliver this message. His hands are full now, but they'll play a game later. And he has 3 options. Knockout, hospital, still strange here now on WTV again, or graveyard. And he'll send him back to the dungeon he crawled out of. And that brings us to his shocking news. Roman Reigns ain't here. Roman surrounds himself with yes men, and he's as good as he says he is, but it took Roman's family, weapons, and sacrificing Paul Heyman to finish off Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Meanwhile, back at WrestleMania 36, he beat Brock with his own bare hands. And he's making up places. The island of relevancy isn't real. Which, before I move on, a lot of people I feel like have been giving Drew a little bit of crap. And basically they're saying they feel his promo skills have deteriorated. I even remember saying, like back when he first started getting his main event push in 2020, that his promo skills were great and off the chart. I think his delivery is great. The problem is again, he's still... Again, within the past year of him coming to SmackDown, and more so just, fighting random matches, he's kind of lost a little bit of steam as a character. So I feel like even though he has this title opportunity, is still a little bit off. Because like I said, there really is no story with him getting this title opportunity, besides the fact he beat Sheamus in that one match. So, yeah, the opportunity is still a little bit random. There's no, big, over-the-mountain story. Which is why I keep saying that even though I feel like the moment of him beating Roman at Clash at the Castle will make up for when he had no audience when he beat Brock for the title at WrestleMania 36. I don't know about you guys, but I still think that since Drew's already faced Roman at Survivor Series 2020... he couldn't beat Roman, and even in the past he hasn't been able to beat Roman. Why not have somebody else fresh, like a Karrion Kross, be the one to dethrone him instead? But, like I said, if he had more of a direction, I think people would, recognize his promo skills are not as bad as they seem. Just wanted to get that out there. But, of course, out comes Scarlett. And she gets on the apron, and we're expecting Karrion Kross to attack him. But instead, it was the Usos who beat him down. And then after they beat him down, they tell Scarlett to tell her man that if he steps up to the Tribal Chief, they'll put his ass down, and this is the Tribal Chief's territory. And Scarlett pretty much said she had the same message for them. And backs down, and disappears for the rest of the night. We also then have a video package similar to the U.S. title, except this one's for the Intercontinental Championship, hyping up the main event of the show, which feels nice to see the mid-card title main eventing the show, and they're actually trying to make them feel prestige again, which is excellent to see, as we have not seen any sort of direction of prestige in these titles for quite a while. Because remember, neither of them made it onto the show for WrestleMania, which is, of course, ridiculous. But we have that. Shinsuke has an interview basically saying to tell Gunther to come on! And then we have Kofi Kingston gets attacked on stage. Well, the Viking Raiders came out and Kofi attacked the kendo stick, but it was too much and he got taken out. Okay? That was just whatever. We then have Sami Zayn again going to Roman's door, which first off, I'm like, why the heck are you going to Roman's door if it was announced that he wasn't here tonight? When the Usos came out of the room and Sami pleads his case with them, wanting another shot, basically said, and they're telling him that everything he's done has just gotten ruined in return. But then Drew McIntyre came out of nowhere and got his revenge on the Usos for taking him out. And he beats them down. and Sammy runs off. And Drew just, like, talks some trash to the Usos. Basically, he wants to see them out there later on tonight, have a match against them. And he's walking the hall, you hear him go, "Oh, Sammy!" Which was quite funny, I say. Then we have two jobbers in the ring. And then I'm sitting there thinking this might be the moment. Because I had read the rumors, and I thought, okay, the last time they were very, heavily confident in, their reportings, they show up that same exact day. And sure enough, it happened, as the latest trend was the Hit Row was making their way back. And they did, minus Isaiah Swerve Scott, because Swerve is in AEW. But there are rumors also that they would only bring back just Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis. But they did bring back B-Fab. The first one that was released from the group. And it sounds like B-Fab's release is what eventually led to the rest of Hit Row's release. I guess Top Dollar was questioning, why they did that or something like that, and it led to Top Dollar getting heat, which is why the rest of Hit Row got released in the next round of releases after B-Fab did. But it was good to see them back. I definitely really liked them when they were in NXT. Of course, again, they'll have to go on without Swerve, even though I've heard rumors that I guess Swerve was a last-minute addition to Hit Row. Wasn't supposed to have Swerve at first, from what I hear. Now, some people are saying that maybe Hit Row should grab a fourth member to kind of fill that spot. I know some people said R-Truth, which honestly, I dig it. Again, R-Truth's someone that before he got moved to SmackDown in, I think it was 2017, I was not a fan. I was just annoyed with him. I just wasn't digging, his, gimmick where he forgets things and whatnot. I wasn't digging it. I was not. But he's kind of been in the same position for a while now. I mean, I know Hit Row's baby faces, but I think he can fit in there pretty good. I also now think that maybe Hit Row should be the team to dethrone the Usos. Because they looked excellent in this match. And they're probably, again, the freshest team on the roster. Like the last big team you had that could probably do the job is, in fact, the Street Profits. I know I've heard rumors about, maybe Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn getting back together to be a team, which I would love to see. But, of course, if Hit Row is going to run the show on SmackDown, then, have Zayn and Owens go to Raw and, because they're going to be, splitting the titles again because, Fox and USA want their own separate titles. So we may be getting that. But yeah, I dig it. I definitely dig, am excited to see, Hit Row come back. Afterwards, of course, they introduce themselves as the OG3. And if you don't know, now you know. We also see Gunther get interviewed, and he tells off Shinsuke, and that tonight he'll suffer at the hands of the Ring General. And then we have this contract signing that was set up for Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler. But then, out through the crowd comes Ronda Rousey with a duffel bag. And despite the fact that she's the heel, she's supposed to be the heel, that is, she got cheered out the building like a hero. So she goes to the ring, drops the bag on the contract, and gets on the mic. Empties it, and it's full of nothing but money, which she says is double her fine. Security came to escort her out, and she says up to them, and Judo throws one, but stops short of the armbar with everyone pleading with her, basically saying, "You saw what I did to the referee last at SummerSlam. I can do the same thing to you," basically. And then Shayna comes out, which is the first interaction besides a tease we got in this year's Rumble with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. And Shayna says that's not how WWE works, and she should play by the rules to get what she wants. But Ronda tells her she used to be a killer and storms off. which again is interesting. But then Shayna walks to the ring, and she then cuts like a heel promo, even though she was kind of both like a babyface with Ronda. But she cuts a heel promo saying how she walked to the ring and said, last week we all watched her win the gauntlet match, and Liv is just the next one on the list and the next to fall. So she signs a contract. Liv came out and says how Shayna's just a cut-rate Ronda Rousey, and she beat her twice. Which, again, is... Again, this promo made Shayna sound like the babyface, and Liv being the heel. Again, she's thinking she beat Ronda twice. Like, she's not admitting that, it was a dusty finish, but, she's kind of coming full of herself. Like, again, I'm personally looking at Shayna as the face and Liv as the heel. Especially when they have Shayna telling telling Ronda, that's not how they play by the rules. Would a heel Shayna Baszler play by the rules? I don't think she would. She would, even though she would come across as super aggressive and whatnot, wouldn't really need, the rule breaking to win the match. She came across as kind of the babyface of this. Which is why I keep saying is, I think, again, they backed themselves into a corner with Liv. They're trying to not screw her up, but with the position they were left with her whenever Triple H took over, it's not their fault. I still think have Liv drop the title to Shayna and then do Shayna versus Ronda. Still would love to see that team in the tag team tournament. Be a nice addition, but unfortunately it is not the case. And again, Shayna and Liv have a brawl, which ends with Liv doing a running bulldog, throwing Shayna through the table. The Usos, of course, then get on Sami Zayn for running away earlier, and if he doesn't step up, he'll get left behind, and then they head off to go look for Drew. Afterwards, they come out and they call Drew down for a tag match and tells him that, he can bring out a tag partner. And at first, he came out just by himself and started fighting the Usos, but then Madcap Moss randomly joined in. And the babyfaces win, and afterwards, Drew tries to follow up with one last Claymore on the Usos, but Sammy pushes them out of the way, and he Claymores Sammy instead. So we'll see where that goes. We have a Maximum Male Models photo shoot. And then Los Lotharios, which is Angel, which I saw somewhere on Twitter that it looks like they're going to be going back to Angel Garza. So Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo wants to be signed, but Max Dupree refuses. But then they said, we weren't talking to you. We were talking about your sister, Maxine Dupree, and tells them to give him a call. Whatevs. We also have an interview with Ricochet, laughing about how Pat McAfee kicked Corbin in his place where the sun does not shine last week, and says he's more locked in than ever. He's ready to get back into the IC title picture. Basically says he's going to be watching the match with Shinsuke and Gunther. But then Corbin blindsides him. We're continuing this feud into the match. Okay? We also have a hype video for Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark, who are hungry to ready to take on the best of Raw and SmackDown. So not sure if this team is an official call-up for them both yet, but we'll have to wait and see. And then the main event, again, Gunther and Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental title. Can't remember the last time they got a good amount of time in the main event, and the match, of course, was great as we expected it to be. Nakamura looked great. Gunther has looked great as well. With the stiff shots and just being the big power man that I'm pretty sure is needed. Although I still hear rumors that apparently if Vince was still in charge, Gunther was the next one that Vince was planning on just burying. He was souring on him. Which I still think is bullcrap, because Gunther's 6'4", 270, 280 pounds. He's a big dude. Isn't that exactly what you want? To me, he's the international Brock Lesnar. He can hang with Brock, but he retains, as I predicted to do so. Who's going to be fighting him next? I don't know, but I thought it was an excellent stiff match. And him and Kaiser stand tall. And that's how we went off the air. So, solid show. I gave it a B-. Still something supposed to work on, but like I said, I think some of the things that need to be worked on, like again, I still think they need to take the title off of Liv and start a story again for her to be able to win that title again and not be like backed into a corner like they are now. And yes, she's still like in denial, saying that, you know, she shouldn't be credited for that victory against Ronda. But I do love seeing Hit Row, Karrion Kross being back. We'll have to wait and see who else comes through. Nothing really new in the live chat, really. But, yeah. I'm going to take a shower, and then I have one more Seinfeld review of the film, but I am tired, guys. I have to work, of course, tomorrow, as always, so see what happens. I'll probably review Raw maybe Tuesday after work. We'll have to wait and see. Who's appearing next? It seems like they're bringing back someone every single week, spacing them out. Who knows? Again, Hit Row is a nice addition this week. We also got Dexter Lumis on Monday, and last week was Karrion Kross. So it'll be interesting to see where we go next. But that does it, guys. That's my review of SmackDown. Gave the B-. What were your thoughts on SmackDown this week? Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. And if you didn't know now you know. Continue back, Hit Row. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Till then, guys, have a great rest of your night. And peace out, everybody.